Hi, I'm Bilkis Bahari and you're watching Interview of the Day. Belt and Road Initiative is one of the largest and most expensive projects in the world. It's the revival of the transcontinental land and sea routes covering Asia, Europe, and Africa. Joining me in today's episode to talk about the initiative is geopolitical expert and senior advisor of Eurasia Group, Robert Kaplan. Welcome to the program, Robert.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Let's start off with one of the most talked about initiative currently, the Belt and Road Initiative. Could you please share your thoughts about this?
Well, I think Belt and Road is several things that's not being written about in the media. Number one, it's a branding operation. For the roads, railways, pipelines, China in many cases has already built across the former Soviet Central Asian republics to get access to oil in Kazakhstan, to gas in Turkmenistan. And what all these roads, railways, pipelines do is it links China up with Iran. And China plus Iran is an unbeatable combination in Eurasia, which sidelines Russia actually, though nobody says this or admits this. What Belt and Road also does is it helps China solve its problem with the ethnic Turkic Uyghur Muslims in Western China, because it surrounds them by the way that China is building closer relations with the former Muslim republics in the Soviet Union, and it also raises the living standard of Western China by bringing in all these developments. And then, of course, there's the maritime Belt and Road, where China is essentially what I call developing a sea route across the greater Indian Ocean, which reminds me of the early days of the Dutch and British East India companies, as China links up the South China Sea through the Indian Ocean with the Red Sea and the Eastern Mediterranean. So I think it's a way for China to externalize its problems and its excess capacity in many ways. And what this does is it makes China a Eurasian power, a kind of new Chinese empire that reminds one of the Tang and Yuan dynasties of the Middle Ages and of the early Ming dynasty.
The idea of this initiative was first mooted by China's President Xi Jinping in 2013. This is a huge project proposed by China, but how would it impact China's neighboring countries such as Kazakhstan?
Well, I think what it has the potential to do is drag or bring countries like Kazakhstan from the periphery of international politics to the center of geopolitics. In other words, Eurasia is being shrunk. It's being made smaller by the way that technology is condensing geography. And what that does is it puts Kazakhstan in the center of this geopolitical drama between Russia and China and Iran and elsewhere, so that the centrality and the importance, of a country like Kazakhstan is raised.
With the Belt and Road Initiative, don't you think countries in Asia, Europe, and Africa would sort of be like closer to each other in terms of politics and economic relationship?
Well, they can be closer, but remember, the linking together of countries, the condensing, the shrinkage of geography also connects the various crisis zones of the world, so that the conflicts in the East and South China Sea have more and more to do with the conflicts in the Persian Gulf and the Baltic Sea. That interconnectivity is it's a double-edged sword. It could be a positive in many ways. It can also be a destabilizing element by making geopolitics more complex. And with complexity comes instability.
What do you think of the current political and economical landscape in Central Asia?
I think it's proved wrong many pessimists, because we have to go back to 1991 when the Soviet Union collapsed, when many people said that these republics cannot remain stable. Well, that's proved wrong, except in the case of Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan. countries like Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan have proved very stable indeed. Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan have seen peaceful transitions of leadership. I think going back 27 years or so, it's proved wrong a lot of pessimists, but we'll see where this goes because the challenge of political stability only increases.
What would be the future of this region?
I think the future of this region will be tied increasingly closely with the futures of China and Russia. Because remember, China and Russia are not static. They themselves may face internal upheavals, internal challenges. China's developing a vast middle class. Middle classes are harder to govern, harder to satisfy. They demand more of their leadership internally. Similar in Russia. And it's unclear how stable the institutions are in Russia and China. So depends what happens internally in Beijing and Moscow will have a great effect of what happens in Central Asia.
We've come to the end of our program. Thank you very much for joining us.
It's been my pleasure.
That was Robert Kaplan, geopolitical expert and senior advisor of Eurasia Group. You are watching Interview of the Day with me, Bilkis Bahari. Thanks for watching and see you again soon.